Hello and welcome to Model Dads. Today we're going to be taking a quick walk through the revised Late War Overlord supplement for Flames of War, kindly provided by Battlefront. The Overlord supplement can be bought separately or with Atlantic Wall as part of the D-Day compendium, and has been updated and expanded by Michael Hort and Phil Yates and available for $50 or £30. As someone who purchased the original D-Day compendium just 2 years ago, I have to admit to being a little peeved that the D-Day volumes were reissued so soon, despite the sweeteners on offer. So in this walkthrough I'm interested to know what's different between the two volumes now that they've been updated for version 3. Like its predecessor Turning Tide, Overlord covers Flames of War late war period 1944 to 45, and specifically the Allied invasion of France between the 6th of June and the start of Operation Market Garden on the 17th of September 1944. Where Turning Tide was 246 pages long, Overlord is 302 pages long and consists of British, Canadian and American intelligence briefings and warriors. As usual, this is a beautifully illustrated hardback book, well bound and follows a familiar format, opening with a useful guide for new players about building and basing your army. This is followed by a brief introduction to the initial D-Day landings themselves, before starting on the relevant company listings proper. We open with the 6th Airborne Division, where you'll find an enhanced Lieutenant Colonel R.G. Pinecoffin is followed by fearless trained parachute infantry companies, an air landing infantry company, and a new airborne armoured reconnaissance squadron, a mechanised company with Tetrarch and Cromwell tanks, motorcycle rifle teams, and the option to field a confident trained Belgian armoured car platoon of Daimlers and Dingoes with their own set of special rules. The use of special rules and different levels of motivation and skill to reflect the flavour of different Commonwealth nations or divisions is continued throughout the supplement, and we're first introduced to it here with the addition of the 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion. 1st Special Service Brigade follows with a tweaked You Are Not Alone rule, where you now ignore the 1st platoon loss for company morale checks. Lord Lovett and Lieutenant Colonel Peter Young have also been tweaked to bring them into alignment with version 3 and enhanced respectively. Revised this for commandos on the beaches and at the Orne follow. Cracking on, we get to the renamed assault companies, derived from the Confident Trained 3rd and Confident Veteran 50th Northumbrian Infantry Divisions, and an unchanged Colour Sergeant Major Stan Hollis. The Confident Trained 3rd Canadian Infantry Division follows, with the Canadian Special Rules, a tweaked Captain John Treleaven, and finally the revised lists. Assault companies benefit from the option to field a significantly rewritten section on the 79th Armoured Division, otherwise known as Hobart's Funnies. The focus shifts inland with a brief resume of Operations Perch, Totalize, Bluecoat and Goodwood, punctuating the relevant revised and expanded Armoured Tank and Armoured Recce lists for the reluctant veterans of the 7th, the Confident Trained 11th and the 4th Canadian Divisions, and the newly introduced Confident Veteran 4th Armoured Brigade and Confident Trained Guards Divisions. The presence of a few challenges in the 7th Guards between June 1944 to May 1945 is acknowledged, with early challenges allowed in up to half of the Desert Rats armoured platoons, whilst the 4th Armoured Brigade can field a Firefly platoon as they did at the start of the Normandy campaign. This armoured squadron list is succeeded by an introduction to the Canadian 10th Infantry Brigade and South Alberta regiments, along with the revised Major Curry. A Confident Trained Canadian Armoured Recce squadron follows, along with a motorised infantry company that enables Commonwealth commanders to field MG teams. Bringing up the rear is a lorried rifle company list, and after an adjusted Sergeant Tom Stanley, the opportunity to field Battlefront's favoured Confident Trained, Confident Veteran, mechanised armoured car squadrons in the form of the 2nd Household Cavalry Regiment, Inns of Court Yeomanry, 12th Manitora Dragoons or the 11th Hussars. Lumbering up next comes the Churchill Infantry Support Tank Company lists of the 2nd Army and 6th Guards Tank Brigades. This is followed by an Independent Armoured Squadron Tank Company list, attributable to either the 4th 7th Royal Dragoon Guards and 2nd Canadian Armoured Brigade, which are rated Confident Trained, or the Sherwood Rangers Yeomanry, being Confident Veterans. It's worth noting here that the Independent Armoured Squadrons can run a Firefly platoon. The British lists close with the popular confident trained 15th Scottish Infantry Division, the Scottish Special Rules, and a later generic Rifle Company list with supporting mechanised Recce Company for the July-August exploitation and breakout battles. This is supported by a useful table of British divisions in Normandy, indicating when and in what operations specific divisions fought. Divisional and corps support options follow, with significant refinements to naval gunfire support to include destroyers, light or heavy cruisers. The arsenal follows, with notable adjustments to anti-tank guns, making 6-pounders AT-11 and all 17-pounders, including those in Fireflies, AT-14, a change that recognises the presence of enhanced ammunition at the time. This substantially revised section finishes with a useful painting guide for British airborne, infantry and armoured forces. The American section kicks off with the fearless veterans of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions and an unchanged Lieutenant Turner Turnbull, Gammon Bombs and Master Sergeant rules. The lists are largely unchanged, but as the 101st and 82nd are now treated identically, each benefits from the options to field a corps and divisional support options previously unique to each division, like a tank, light tank or anti-aircraft platoon with corps field arty supplied by an air observation post. A confident trained glider rifle company list follows, before turning to the beaches, where the 4th Infantry Division is added alongside the 1st and 2nd Divisions, extending the action to Utah Beach. Assault Company Special Rules and an unchanged Brigadier General Norman Dutch Coter precedes the Confident Veteran or Confident Trained Assault Infantry Company lists, with ratings dependent upon the division selected. You'll see that the 4th Infantry Division gets some exclusive support platoon options. All assault companies have a new support boat platoon which has a nice mix of carbine, rifle, HMG and mortar teams. The 2nd and 5th Fearless Trained Ranger Battalions get a complete revamp with extended special rules which enable them to hit on a 3+ in assault and have the same morale rules as British commandos, alongside with lists for Normandy and Task Force Sugar in Brittany. Operation Cobra follows, with the existing 2nd, 3rd and 6th Divisions being joined by the Confident Veterans of the 4th and the Confident Trained of the 5th. Special rules are updated with Staff Sergeant Lafayette Poole unchanged. Medium and light tank lists follow, flavoured by different ratings, combat and support platoon options, with the 2nd and 3rd getting 76mm Shermans, auto attack and the spearhead move. Similarly, an armoured rifle mechanised company list follows. There's an armoured recon mechanised company with newly allied Free French forces attached, as well as a new fast-hitting cavalry recon troop for the 4th and 6th Armoured Divisions. A brief introduction of the fighting inland from the beaches follows, with rifle company lists for the Confident Veterans of the 1st and the Confident Trained 29th, 4th and 2nd Infantry Divisions. The 2nd Division loses Truscott Trot and can also have their towed tank destroyer platoons fire bombardments. Sure to be popular are the 2 all-new tank destroyer mechanised companies. Up next, depicting the Confident Veteran 899th and the 644th Mark 10 tank destroyer battalions. The lists close with the Confident Trained Task Force A and Free French Special Rules and lists. As you might expect, Overlord closes with the US Arsenal and a painting guide modelled by a Tom Hanks lookalike. So, are all these adjustments and refinements adding up to a purchase? I think it depends on where you're at as a player. If you are a tournament player, then it's a resounding yes. You'll need this comprehensive compendium to play in any of the nationals. If you're new to Flames of War and coming in on the open fire starter set or don't have Turning Tide, then it's also a resounding yes. There's loads here to get your teeth into, and I like the way the lists evolve to reflect the fighting inland from the beaches. If you're an existing player with a copy of Turning Tide, you may wish to think carefully before purchasing. If you're less than familiar with the Normandy campaign and or a British player, then I think it's certainly worth considering given the variety of choices now on offer. If you're into tinkering and playing it your way, then it is a lot to pay, particularly if you've got the basic details already, and now that, as of the 21st of July, the Easy Army lists have been updated to include the forces listed in Overlord. It's hard not to be impressed by the sheer quantity of work that's gone into this volume, hammering the history into balanced and playable lists that appeal to competitive players, as well as acknowledging the need to flavour the lists to better reflect their historical counterparts. Recommended.